Welcome back to Learn SKN, and today we have an agricultural science video for you. So this is the May-June 2021 Agricultural Science Single Award Paper 1. Paper 1. So I know normally the paper ones for both single and double tend to be the same, so this one will cover double as well. Alright, so we're gonna jump into it just now, but before we do, I'd like to shout out a member of the community for giving me this paper. You know who you are, so pick up yourself one time. Much appreciated for sharing the paper. If anybody else out there have any 2022 paper ones, 2023 paper ones, feel free to email to learnskn@outlook.com. Alright, let's jump into this one, short and sweet. Alright, marketing can best be described as, and so the best answer here is moving goods and services from producer to consumer. That in essence is what marketing is systematically getting the good from the point of production to the final consumer. Everything involved between there, the price, the promotion, the place, the product, all of that is involved in getting it from the producer to the consumer, the final consumer. So that's D. Biodiversity refers to and the best answer here is C, different species of organisms and the variety of habitats in which they live. So when you're talking about biodiversity, we're talking about biological life, and the diversity means the differences, the different types of biological life that exists out there. And so the biodiversity refers to different species of organisms and the various habitat in which they live. So different species out there. Number 3, which of the following are functions of the World Trade Organization, or the WTO? And the options here are trade negotiations, dispute settlement, monitoring trade agreements. And the answer is all of the above, because the WTO is tasked with trade negotiations. People go there, different countries go there to negotiate their terms. If there's an issue, you can take it to the WTO to dispute settlements, and of course they make sure that people live up to their trade agreements, so they monitor them for that reason. Number 4, conventional farming is different from organic farming because conventional farming clearly involves the use of pesticides, fertilizers, and those things, whereas organic farming is all about using natural ways of controlling pests and diseases, natural fertilizer. Yes, there is some usage in some instances of artificial pesticides and fertilizers, but there's a threshold, a lower threshold that you must use, or else it cannot be considered organic. Number 5, which of the following statements best refer to the role of food safety measures? Food safety measures, and the best answer is A, focuses on identifying and preventing the contamination of food. So all this is part of GAP, Good Agricultural Practices, where you have to pinpoint points where contamination can occur, whether it's dirty water, clean water, those kind of things, and ensure that there is no contamination in the food system. Number 6, which of the following is the advantage is an advantage to farmers who grow organic crops? And the options here are increased manual labor. That's not an advantage any way you put it. Higher cost of production, not an advantage. No pesticide residue on the crop. So that's the best answer, because if you're using little to no pesticides, then you don't have to worry about any pesticide residue on your crops, and you can sell them knowing that they're not harming the environment, not harming anybody. Number 7 refers to this diagram right here, which shows the relationship between rainfall and the yields of tomato during a particular year in country A. So look at the rainfall, which is the squiggly line, and then the yields are the broken line, and you see the yields remain consistent throughout the whole year, even though the rainfall is ebbs and flows of rainfall. So what's the best answer for that? The yield of tomatoes is steady because the crop is most likely produced in a hydroponic system. So it's some form of protected structure where the rain isn't really a factor. So whether the rain high or low, it's not going to really impact the yield because it's in a controlled environment. So that's A, one only. Number 8 refers to the following table, which shows the demand, supply, and price of tomatoes in a country. And so we have a whole schedule right there, demand, supply. And we're looking for the price. So we look on the far right. So what is the equilibrium? What is the equilibrium price? So equilibrium means equal. So it's where demand and supply are equal. And so we see that happening at 700 kilograms, where demand and supply are both 700 and the price is $2. And so that's the equilibrium price of tomatoes, or the market price of tomatoes. Number 9, a farmer wants to know the number of tools in her farm. Which record should she check? And so that's an inventory. So C, you're looking for an inventory when you're checking what you have in your stocks. Number 10, Farmer Green purchased a rotavator at a cost of $20,000. The value of the rotavator will depreciate at 10% annually. In which of the following records will this depreciation of the rotavator be recorded? And so this is accounting right here. And so more than likely you're going to have a machinery account in your ledger, in your books. So you would mark that down when depreciation occurs. Whatever the amount is depreciated by, that will be recorded in that T account, or the double entry accounting system, if that's what is being utilized. Number 11, which of the following can be done to speed up breakdown of organic matter in a compost heap? And so we have gather dead plants and animals faster, add water to the compost when it is dry. So that's the answer right there, B. Because you need to make sure that the compost heap is a little moist. You need moisture to activate the actions of these bacteria, worms, and those kind of things. We hardly ever see worms and those things thriving under dry conditions. And so to break down this stuff faster, get more worms, get more those bugs and stuff, you need a little moisture. Number 12 refers to the following graph of a demand and supply curve. So we have during Lent, people demand more fish than any other meat. This is represented by a shift from, and the best answer is D to D1, because the movement or the shift of the graph, the demand curve from D to D1 means that there's an increase in demand. So during Lent, people demand more fish than other meats. So you see the demand for fish going to the right, and that means that there's an increase in the demand. So D to D1. Number 13. In economics terms, a supply is created when, and the answer here is C, when supply is greater than demand. So what they're saying here is that you have too much on the market and not enough people to buy them. So if you have, let's say, 10 things on the market but only 5 buyers, 5 going to just be there to waste. So you have a surplus there, right? So that is how a surplus is created, when supply is higher than demand. Number 13, in economic terms, a surplus is created when A, supply is less than demand, B, supply is equal to supply, C, supply is greater than demand, and D, demand is greater than supply. So I'm assuming B would have been supply is equal to demand, but nonetheless, C is the answer. Supply is greater than demand. That is how a surplus is created, meaning let's say that you have 10 pounds of tomatoes on the market and persons are only demanding 5 total. When what happens to the other 5? They become surplus, right? Demand is lower than the supply, and so therefore things will remain on the market. Number 14, which of the following graphs can the equilibrium price of a product be determined? So we're looking at the market price here, and we already said that the equilibrium point is where supply and demand meets, and the best answer is C. We have the market equilibrium graph. Number 15, which of the following are benefits of price support to farmers? 1, economic security for farmers. 2, free farming materials. Or 3, guaranteed prices for certain products. And so the best answer is B, which is 1 and 2. Economic security for the farmers and guaranteed prices for certain products. And so free farming materials, that doesn't play in price support. Number 16. A farmer is least likely to be guaranteed a good credit rating if he, and so we have A, is prompt in taking care of all his obligations. B, uses agricultural loans for their intended purposes. C, work out a realistic plan for the repayment of the loan. And the best answer is D. When you gotta call the man in the office and say, what going on? You ain't paid for your thing last month, you're in a raise. That's problems right there. So the answer is D. You can't get good credit if the bank keep calling telling you owe them, you ain't paying. Right? Number 17. Which of the following piece of input of production comprises variable costs? Let's see. So we have A, seeds and medication. B, fertilizer and building. C, medication and machinery. Or D, management and building. So you have to understand that variable costs are the cost of things in production that changes based on the level of production. So for example, the answer is A, seeds and medicine. Because if, let's say, you're only rearing 10 chicks this time, you only want enough medicine for the 10. But if you go and start rearing 50, then that would vary to match the 50. Same thing with seeds. If I'm just sowing 5 trays, then I'm going to buy X amount of seeds. If I'm sowing 100 trays, so based on the level of production, these things changes variable costs. Number 18, which of the following is not a likely role of agricultural cooperatives? The answer is A off the bat. Provide scholarship for farmers to study, right? That's not really one of the things that the cooperatives deal with directly, not likely. Maybe some do, but that's not the main aim, not the main goal. B, assist farmers in marketing of the produce. That's one. They have marketing cooperatives. C, access government support and services. Government tend to give support and services to a group instead of individuals. So being a part of a cooperative will help you to access these support and services. D, enable farmers to remain in business. Of course, it helps you to be more buoyant in certain economic conditions. It helps you to be stronger together instead of by yourself, and you fail quicker. Number 19, which of the following statements describe a partial budget? And so a partial budget is D. It is used in situations that require a change in the farm plan, right? So when you have a plan during the year and you have to make a change to it, then you might make a budget just for what you're changing. Let's say you want to change the seed that you're going to sow, but everything else remain the same. You just have a budget for that particular part of the plan, right? As opposed to it contains all income and expensive items. It allows, that's a complete budget. It allows for the profitability of the different farms to be compared. Again, that's the complete budget right there. Number 20 refers to the following table. So we have a table here containing number of birds, average selling price per bird. And so the question is asking us, using information in the table, the gross farm income for farmer Brandon's broiler farm is, and so the best answer, the only answer is D, 20,000. Remember they said gross, and so gross would be before deductions are made. So that's the $20 times the 1,000, so you get the 20,000. That's the gross. Then if they select, they take out all those costs, fixed and variable, then that would be the net. We're looking for the gross in this case. 21 refers to the following diagram of a soil profile, and so they're asking which horizon determines the chemical composition of this soil. And the best answer is B, the horizon, well, ironically, horizon B, right? Because that one contains all the chemicals that come from above, that are leached from the top of the soil, come down. And so the answer is horizon B. 22, a bag of mixed fertilizer labeled 7-14-21. What is the ratio of nitrogen to phosphorus in this fertilizer? And so you know it's N, P, and K. So the N is nitrogen, the P is phosphorus, and the K is potassium. But they're asking us about nitrogen to phosphorus. So that's the first two numbers. And that's 7 and 14. And so the best answer, the only answer is A, 1 to 2, because there is 7. And then 7 times 2, that's 14. So the ratio is 1 to 2, nitrogen to phosphorus. So 1 part nitrogen, 2 parts phosphorus. Number 23. In maintaining soil fertility, farmer Jenny planted pumpkins and watermelon among her newly cultivated coconut crop. This method used to assist in maintaining soil fertility is known as, and so we have options here, crop rotation, intercropping, cover cropping, green manuring. And so the best answer here is B, intercropping, because you're planting the watermelon and pumpkins in the same space that you're planting the coconut crops. So the best answer is intercropping. Crop rotation would have been if you plant one crop after the next after in a sequence. So you may have planted the watermelon and then plant something else. But you would realize that pumpkin and watermelon are almost the same in terms of requirement for the soil. So this is intercropping. 24. Burning as a form of land clearing is highly discouraged because it 1. Leaves the soil black. 2. Breaks down soil texture. C. Increase atmospheric temperature. Or D. Removes valuable nutrients from the soil. So the best answer is removes valuable nutrients from the soil. 25 refers to the following diagram of a piece of equipment, and we have to identify this type of equipment. And of course it's a rain gauge, so the water fall in the funnel and then the measurement is taken to know how much inches or whatever of rainfall. The type of germination where the cotyledons appear above the ground is known as epigeel germination. Hypogeel is below, epigeel is above. 27 refers to the following diagram, which shows one of the life processes that occur in plants. P and Q represents two gases, and so the atmospheric gas being utilized by P, usually by the plant at P, in the diagram above is, and so this is photosynthesis taking place here, where the plant is making its own food, and so it's a product of water plus carbon dioxide, and it gives off, it makes the sugar, and it gives off the oxygen that we humans breathe, right? So it's carbon dioxide at P, which is D. Number 28, the transfer of pollen grains from the anther of one plant to the stigma of another plant of the same or closely related species is known as bee cross pollination. Cross pollination. Number 29, the process by which plants lose water in the form of vapor to the air is called transpiration. Number 30, seeds are formed from B, fertilized ovules. When the pollen grains hits the ovary and they fuse, it becomes fertilized, and so it becomes the fruit, which eventually gives rise to the seed. Alright, so again, 30, seeds are formed from B, the fertilized ovules. 31, the use of living organisms to control weeds is a practice known as biological control. Once you're using living organisms to control your pests and diseases, that's part of biological control. Number 32, when a cross is made between parents having a single different trait, a single difference in traits, this is referred to as, and the best answer is C, monohybrid. Monohybrid. It is part of, it is a type of heterozygous. It's part of heterozygous, and so this one is the differentiator is here that there's a single difference in trait, and so it becomes monohybrid. Number 33, which of the following activities will cause soil erosion? The answer is all of them. Every last one of them. Overgrazing, of course, land clearing, of course, excessive rainfall. All that will cause soil erosion, so that's D. 34. A tall pigeon pea plant with a genotype of T, big T, small t, is crossed with a dwarf pigeon plant with a genotype of small t, small t. What is the possible phenotype of the offspring? And so the best answer here is if you use a Punnett square, you'll get two tall, so you get two T's, two big T's, two pairs of big T's and two pairs of small T's. So the plants might be, out of 4, 2 of them might be tall, 2 of them might be short, right? So that's a possibility phenotype right there. 2 might be tall, 2 might be short. All right, 35. Which of the following pest control methods are combined in the integrated pest management approach, IPM? And so that's where you combine all the different types of control measures into one system to control your pests and diseases. And so it's B, cultural, biological, mechanical, and chemical. So all the different approaches to controlling pests. Cultural being using certain practices that hand down over time. Biological, using living organisms. Mechanical, using tools and equipment. Chemical, of course, using the pesticides and those things. 36. Which of the following is most likely to occur when crops are grown in an area with relatively high relative humidity? So we're saying that this area is kind of damp, moist, a lot of water vapors in the air. And so if you have a lot of water vapors in the air, the best answer is A, an increased incidence of fungal diseases. Guys, it's kind of moist. 37. Which of the following is not a benefit of farm mechanization? This was an interesting question in that the options are kind of weird. But anyway, not a benefit. A, farm operations perform on time. That's a benefit. B, better yield and quality of produce. Okay. C, improve standard of living for the rural farmers, meaning that if your output increase using mechanization, you make more money. D, increase losses in crop handling. So that is not a benefit in no way, shape, or form. So that's why I chose that one. Number 38, which of the following types of chemicals can be applied to treat early blight in tomatoes? So early blight is a fungal disease, and so the fungicide is the best thing to apply. So that's B. 39, a field of cabbage shows signs of heavy infestation by cabbage white butterfly larvae. Which of the following symptoms are the plants most likely to show? And so these larvae, or caterpillar or worms, everyone call them, they're going to eat the leaves. And if you get too bad, this might start eating the head of the cabbage, because cabbage is all leaves, right? So these severe damage to leaves and the head of the cabbage. 40, which of the following instructions for harvesting are appropriate? And the best answer here is B, being to pick when pod will snap clean when broken. For tomatoes, that varies based on what you want tomatoes for. If you're going to ship them overseas, you might want to pick them when they're a little orangish to green. Or if you want them ripe, you pick them when they're nice and red. Cabbage, you do not uproot the cabbage, right? You cut the head with a nice sharp knife. Sweet potatoes, you wait until the vines start dying and everything start dying back to know, okay, the root mature. That's when I should start digging around and pull them out. Alright, number 41 deals with this diagram of the bird, the digestive system of the bird. And the first question asks us the function of the part labeled 2. That is the crop. And the function of the crop is to store food. Then 42, which of the following parts labeled 1, 2, 3, or 4 is the proventriculus. Proventriculus is right before the gizzard, and that's number 3. And proventriculus secretes certain juices. Number 43. In rabbits, most cellulose digestion takes place in the cecum. Right? They are basically hindgut fermenters like the horse. They don't really use the stomach like monogastrics. Number 44. Which of the following feeds contain highest percentage of protein per unit of weight? And the best answer here is the fish meal. Fish meal contains a lot of protein, something up to 65-75% crude protein. Right? 45 refers to the diagram of the egg. Which two parts of the egg are rich in protein? That's what we want to eat the egg for protein. So that will be the yolk and the white, as we call it. And so that's 1 and 3. 46. A ram and ewe, both heterozygous for the trait having horns, are mated. Big H, represents the dominant allele for horns, and small h represents the recessive allele for horns, I guess. No horns. What is the possible genotype of the offspring from this cross? And so again, using a Punnett square, you put up the H's up there, and then you go to work, and so the maths would turn out to be C, where the possible genotype might be big H, big H, big H, small h, big H, small h, and small h, small h. So that's out of 47, out of a herd of 12 offspring, how many will most likely be heterozygous recessive for the horn trait? And so the answer is A3. Because again, if you're doing maths, we're looking at percentage wise. Remember, out of 4, there's a 1 out of 4 chance that it would be homozygous for recessive, And if you scale that up to 12, we're talking about quarter. So 25% chance. And so 25% of 12 is 3. 48. Likely disadvantage of artificial insemination in cows is more technical skills required. That's normally a disadvantage. Apart from the cost, the technical skill is required. 49. Eggshells can be used as feed supplement for layers because it supplies calcium. Number 50. So 49 is B, calcium, that is found in the eggs. Number 50, which white breed of pigs is noted for being excellent mothers, producing large litters, and having a deep body? And the best answer, they say white, so you can give it away with that. So it's C, the Landrace. Number 51, the disease of rabbits characterized by runny nose, coughing, sneezing is most likely snuffles. B, snuffles. 42, artificial insemination or AI has become increasingly popular in the Caribbean in recent years because, again, another weird question, right? Because look at the options here. A, it ensures conception does take place. So there's nothing 100% guaranteed. So we can't answer that. That can't be the answer, right? So that's not going to be the answer. That ain't the best answer. B, more trained technicians are willing to assist. That could be the answer right there. Because a lot of people are going away to study veterinary medicine. But we say the best one. It's always the best answer for me. C is a less costly way. For sure, that's not true because it costs money. But then D, regional governments have been expanding the service. That is also happening. So for me, the best answer is D. Number 53, which of the following is not a function of candling in poultry production? Not a function. And so you can look at these options and see what so candling is where you hold the light up to the egg to find out certain things, such as if the egg is abnormal, determine fertility, checking whether the eggs are developing properly. But what it doesn't do is determine the correct consistency of the egg, because you can't really see much of that inside consistency, right? You can't see from outside to see that. Number 54, the ostrich cycle refers to the time between conception and birth, between when the animal comes on heat, when the animal is near to give birth, or D, between one heat period and the next. So that's the best answer right there, between one heat period and the next. Number 55, at the Treaties Poultry Farm, records show that the average live weight of 1,000 birds is 3 kilograms, while the feed consumed by all the birds was 12,000 kilograms. What is the feed conversion ratio of the birds? And so to find that now, we're looking at 3 kilograms times the 1,000, that's 3,000 kilograms because each bird, right? So what you do is times the 3,000, you divide that now by the 12,000 kilograms to get the answer, which is 4 to 1, right? So for every 4 kilograms of feed consumed, the birds would grow 1 kilogram of mass, right? So it's 4 to 1 is this feed conversion ratio. Number 56, broiler birds with signs of blisters on the face, legs, other body parts are most likely affected with C, fowl pox disease. 57, the queen in the hive is a female that is fertile. The other females are sterile. The drone is a man, of course, and so the only answer is B. That's the one that lays the eggs after mating with the drones. Number 58, the function of the drone in a hive is to mate with the queen. That's the only job they really got, is to mate with the queen, produce all them eggs. 59, the penultimate question, which of the following best explains how honey is purified after harvesting? And so the best answer here is C, strain through a strainer, or something we use a muslin cloth or thin cloth to get it nice and clear, and then put that in a bottle. So that's C. At number 60, the last one, the live weight of a goat is 50 kilograms. The dressed carcass weight is 30. What is the dressing advantage? And the answer is 60%. 60%. We saw that in a couple of papers before. All right, so the formula for that one is the dress carcass weight over the live weight, and so the live weight was what, 50, and so that's 30 over 50 times 100 over 1, and we get 60%. All right, so that's it for this May-June 2021 CSEC Agricultural Science Paper 1. This one is for single double awards, agriculture in general. So that's the end of that. So you know what to do now. Like, subscribe, share, stay tuned. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when Learn SKN drops another agriculture science video, because we're going to look at some paper 2s in short order. So make sure you are around for that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.